handle. So the folks that, yeah, right. You gotta like welcome everyone in.
Showing everyone some love. That's good.
Everyone some love. So the folks at the Charlotte Observer in Charlotte did an experiment, and they had asked small businesses and entrepreneurs in the area to test out Periscope. And they actually wrote an article that's out today in their Shop Talk section, talking about the findings and some of the things that these small businesses and entrepreneurs found. So my guest today, I'm going to introduce you guys to her, is Celeste.
Hello.
Is Celeste Smith with the Charlotte Observer. And let me do this. All right. And she is actually the reporter that handled this whole experiment. So yeah, guys, if you, Charlotte, Celeste,
I get that all the time.
If you want to like say hi to everyone, that'd be great.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the experiment and you know what it entailed. Folks were asking me how many, how long did the people use Periscope? Give us a little bit of information on how you guys came up with the idea, and then also how the entrepreneurs got involved.
Sure. Well, at the Charlotte Observer, our online producers have been encouraging us to experiment with different social media platforms. And when Periscope debuted, there was a lot of interest in us experimenting with that. So I was interested in seeing if there was a way to use Periscope in our small business section, which is called Shop Talk. What we try to do, just in addition to our coverage, is try to build a sense of community among our Charlotte entrepreneurs and a sense of connection. So I worked very closely. I did not understand this technology at all. I was new to it too, and had it explained to the business owners that I too was learning it along with them. But I worked very closely with one of our online producers, April Bethay, who walked me through the technology from downloading it to doing an initial broadcast, figuring out how the buttons worked, how to do a selfie, how to start broadcasting, how to tweet out the fact that you're broadcasting. And it's very easy to use, as you well know, very intuitive. So what I did was I reached out to our local business owners who seemed to be either very comfortable on Twitter with active accounts, or very comfortable with technology. We've included an app maker in our experiment, which included 9 business owners in all, excuse me. And also just folks who seem to embrace some of the things that Shop Talk has done in the past. We've had a selfie contest, for example, asking businesses to show off what they do in selfies. So this seemed to be a good way for these types of business owners to show off what they do. So I just...
Are you going to have anyone from your team jump into the Periscope stream to answer any questions? Celeste?
I'm sorry, Kathy?
Are you going to have anyone from your social media team jump on the stream to answer any questions people might have?
I guess I believe that they're watching, and so if someone wants to jump in and pose a question, they can certainly do that.
Yeah, because it'd be great if someone could post either the website for Shop Talk and everything. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we reached out to about several business owners. 9 took us up on it. Of the 9, 8 were new to the technology. They might have checked out different streams from time to time, but they never broadcast themselves. And we just picked a week at the end of June, and we asked them if they could broadcast during that time frame so that we can follow along and just also participate. And so we had a good range of business owners who took us up on it. We've had an app maker. The name of his app is Hapsy, and it's an event app around town. So that posed an interesting challenge, so to speak, on how to visualize an app. We had several retailers, a boutique, the Boulevard at South End, a chocolate company, Bar Chocolate, a celebrity clothier, William Wilson Clothing, who was the most experienced with it. We had a local fashion designer, Laura Emilio Studios. We had an owner of 2 Salsaritas restaurants in town. That's a fast casual Mexican chain named Casey Holtzman, who participated. We had Abbeydale, which is a men's clothing store here in Charlotte, who creates, David Watkins creates a line of the same name. We had a company called Slip On Dancers, where an entrepreneur here, Katie Hughes, created a stretchy band that could go over footwear and turn any shoes into Zumba shoes or dancing shoes. So we were able to, isn't that fun?
Yeah.
We had a bead shop named Bead Lush here in town. Lydia Stern is the owner of that. And I believe that is it. I don't think I left anyone out. So the owners just kind of took to it instinctively. There might have been a little bit of hesitation on the part of some at first, just in terms of, well, this is like another social media piece that I have to be involved in. I'm already on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Not sure exactly I might have time for this to fit in my social media toolbox. But what we found is that
tell us some of, people are starting to ask about findings. Sure. Tell us about some of the findings, because I think that's what a lot of folks have been asking about. So you had 9 entrepreneurs and small business owners in Charlotte be a part of this in one of the last weeks of June.
Yeah, and so what we found is that, number one, it's very addictive. A lot of the business owners not only did the one video that we requested, but they did several. Number two, they found immediately that this could fit into their social media toolbox quite easily. It gives them a chance to talk and connect directly with people that they work with. For example, our fashion designer, Laura Emilio Studios, what she did was she found that these Periscope videos are something that she can use, that she can download and save and use as a promotional material on her website to promote some of the different fashion classes that she does. And she also said that it fit in with a goal of her as an entrepreneur this year to find other ways to reach out to people through video.
That's great.
What folks like about it is that you don't have to put it through a video editing system. It's immediate, it's fast, it's fun. If you're someone who likes being live, like the entrepreneurs with our chocolate shop, Bar Chocolate, Lynn McKay had mentioned to me that he and Mike Schaefer, his business partner, prefer to go live. They're very comfortable with going on TV. They're comfortable with talking to customers about the type of local ingredients that they use with their products. So to them, this was something that was quick and easy and not something to be afraid of. What they also,
and I'm gonna stop you at certain points.
Sure.
Because it is Periscope. People are asking questions and having comments. So yeah, some of the folks here are asking about, some of the folks here actually I did yesterday just to test. Okay, yeah, they're wondering about the reactions. For example, you were talking about the boutique owner and how she's gonna, it's another great tool that she can incorporate and to use video. Did she see, what kind of engagement did she see? Do you know, or did it help?
Yeah, she did. Engagement was very important to a lot of the owners. For example, with Laura Emilio Studio, she started tracking how many followers she would pick up during live broadcasts and how many replays. And by the time she got to her third one, she had like 37 live viewers. She would do interesting snippets from her classes. Like she did one called Breakfast with Ruffles, where her apprentice would do a fashion illustration demonstrating how to draw ruffles. And then she did another one showing different ways to wear a bridal veil, which is something that would always be popular with a lot of people.
Yes, I could see that getting a lot of the brides being like, I don't know what to do with the veil.
Exactly, so, yeah. Exactly. And so she started tracking her replays. It's interesting because what the business owners also found, just in terms of a following, that moving forward, what they would do, like for example, Jennifer Branham with the Boulevard at South End, she was saying that moving forward, it would be good to post a tweet saying, I'm going to be live on Periscope at such and such a time talking about how we pick our local partners or whatever topic she decides to go for. And then that way people know to tune in. Since it's still, I guess, a relatively new technology, not everyone perhaps gets that you can get notifications, or that there is a way to tune in when someone goes live immediately. But often that's not always convenient for everyone to tune in at that time. So she's finding that if she gives people a heads up, that that's something that might work a little bit better just in terms of building a following.
And I'm going to stop you 1 second. We've got Chocolate
Sure.
Johnny, who's actually a chocolate entrepreneur in, well, he's been running this business, a family business, but he's actually in Australia, and he's very active on Periscope. And when I had mentioned that Bar Chocolate had done it, I'm glad that Johnny's in here. So good day. He's saying good day.
Good day. Hi, Johnny.
Australia. So yeah, so sorry, I just had to jump in and let you know, because
no, thanks for
definitely take advantage of what you're talking about. So
sure. And Chocolate Johnny may want to know that Bar Chocolate here is going to Periscope at 3 p.m. our time today, where they'll broadcast from their production facility. And they had a fun one that we included a snippet of it with our online story for their project, where they introduced some of their new bonbons. Like, who doesn't want to watch that, right?
Oh yeah, that sounds delicious.
But what was interesting too, just in terms of how Bar Chocolate used this experiment, they also used the broadcast as an opportunity to tout no fewer than like 8 local businesses. They wanted to make a point of saying that their product is locally sourced, and that they buy their ingredients when they can locally. And they also mentioned where their products can be found locally. So there was a point in the experiment, in Lynn's broadcast, where he mentioned several businesses and also giving them a nod. And that's what we kind of found too, that the business owners would use this technology as a chance to draw other business owners in. Sometimes other fellow business owners would jump in and comment during the broadcast, or sometimes they would feature them. With Bead Lush, which is a bead shop here locally, Lydia Stern used her broadcast to broadcast from a local craft, a monthly craft social that she does at an art gallery here named 22. So not only was she showing what her store does, which is helping people make beautiful jewelry, but she was also doing it in an environment of another local business. So it seems as though, the local community here in Charlotte is very much like that. They support other local business owners, and they were kind of using this as a chance to illustrate that too. So that was interesting to see.
Yeah, and I'm interested in finding out a little bit more about, you were talking about the fashion designer who was doing the classes and was doing a class on how to design ruffles or things like that. Tell me a little bit more, like, was there engagement? Because a lot of people do come to Periscope, you know, they come to be entertained and they come to engage, but they also come to learn something. So what was kind of the reaction there?
Right. Well, that's exactly actually what she wants to do. She wants to now do these videos regularly, and now actually in her email blast, she includes a line and a link saying that now live on Periscope, find us, find Laura Emilio's studio. So she wants to include it as a class, almost as a teaching tool on her website. And what's interesting too is that it also provided a chance for her apprentice to get some good experience with teaching, and with teaching on video. Laura also had mentioned to me just, I guess, some of the challenges with trying to teach a class on Periscope. It helps to take a moment to focus, to focus the camera so that people can see what you're doing, especially something as detailed as drawing ruffles. And while she liked the engagement and seeing the comments, when you're teaching, you can't always acknowledge them. And so that's something that she and I suppose other people too are going to figure out as they go along how to acknowledge people as they're coming into your stream if you're doing something that's instructional.
That's really also, because when I interview, like I can't, if I'm interviewing, I can't go and welcome everyone in. So sometimes, because that's what I tend to do. So just say sorry quickly.
I like that.
I'm not acknowledging you.
I like that. But it's also a fun way, and a lot of them were using it. William Wilson Clothing, who is an entrepreneur, a celebrity clothier here in Charlotte, who's very comfortable with the technology, have been one of the early adopters and broadcasts daily, sometimes several a day. He'll also be live with us at 11. But he uses it as a chance to show off his personality as people come into the stream, very similar to what you were doing, Kathy. As people come into the stream, he'll give them a shout out, say, hey, what's going on? And if someone likes a suit that he's showing, he's saying, well, it's on sale, so come on by.
That's perfect, because some of the people are asking here, do you know from this experiment, from these 9 entrepreneurs that tried this, did any of this translate into type of sales or any type of, or anything like that? Like what are some of the findings?
I don't know about whether it has translated into sales, and I would imagine it's still, because they were new to it and they're still getting their bearings. I will say that William Wilson told me that he embraced Periscope right away because he made $100,000 based off his contacts on Twitter and social media just last year. And so Twitter, with allowing him to show his personality, was able to draw him customers. People would refer him. And so once Periscope hit, and he was saying he's all about, a free way to get your word out to the public. He uses it as a chance to not only talk about what he's selling in his store, but if he is traveling, if he is at a show at one of the celebrities that he has worked with, he'll broadcast from backstage. And so he very much sees a connection between Periscope and dollars. I think that potential has yet to be realized. But for the other business owners, just as they're saying, we need a strategy on building followers, we need a strategy on letting people know when we're live. I think they too see the potential of it translating into money.
Well, Chocolate Johnny here is saying that he actually made, I think you said $160 in 3 minutes or something selling chocolate.
Wow. All right.
So, yeah. Johnny rocks. We love him. He's really awesome. So.
What did he broadcast? I'd love to, we can find out from him later, but I would love to know what he chose to broadcast to draw in people that way.
Yeah, can you write it in, Johnny?
It's a matter of sharing tips.
Scope sale. He did a scope sale. So like a flash sale on Periscope, which is one of the uses for small businesses, definitely.
Oh, how interesting. We did have a participant, Slip-On Dancers, who did a 10-second stand-up pointing people to their website and their Facebook page for a special promotion on their product. But that's interesting hearing about a scope sale. I'm sure that that's a strategy that a lot of people who are listening now can take advantage of.
But that's really interesting, because I think a lot of people are like, how did this translate in sales? And a lot of these people were just testing it out for the first time, just like you said. So they didn't really have a big following. They're working on it. So unlike the fashion, the men's clothing guru, who obviously he's been on board for a while. So it'll be interesting to see how this progresses. So.
It will, and it's just also interesting to see what. It was interesting to see what the owners decided to showcase as a way to put their best foot forward. Casey Holtzman, who is the owner of the Salsarita Fresh Cantina restaurants here, he did 2 really fun clips on focusing on employees doing a chopping contest. One was chopping jalapenos and another was chopping tomatoes, with him in the background, just kind of in a fun way, like urging them on, oh, faster, faster. And his point was that, as an owner, I want to see happy people making food. Happy people translates into better tasting food. So so that's it's interesting to see how people are doing it.
I love that idea. I haven't heard of anyone do anything like that, like where they're doing like a little competition with their employees and showing it. Hootsuite actually did something quite at the beginning where they did, it was Follow the Sun, and they gave their Periscope handle to different employees across their offices around the world, showcasing their culture and everything. And yeah, and one of my colleagues actually shared some data that said that after that, they had like an increase of, I don't even know how many, like it was like 200% or something of people wanting to work there because they had highlighted the culture, the positive corporate culture. So of course you want to work there, people are happy.
Exactly. And just to give a nod that it's, I thought that was just an interesting way as an owner to give a nod on who is building your business and who is making it work. So I thought that was a neat way too. Just in going back to the point about business owners using the technology to help showcase other business owners. We had two interesting videos from a men's clothing store here named Abbeydale, where the owner, David Watkins, broadcast in front of his shop. He did one broadcast showing off his blue linen suit, all made from his Abbeydale line, his shoes, giving a tout to his business's shoe program where people can go online to design a custom shoe. But then he also took a walk down to a local coffee stand called Not Just Coffee and sat down with a new brew with the owner of that shop, James Yoder. So it was just an interesting way of drawing in something that he does every day or regularly, and just an interesting way to not only show off his personality, but also draw in another local business too. So they seem to have a lot of fun with it.
Well, and it's funny because a lot of things in social media are about word of mouth. So this is kind of like this Allie going over there and saying, this is where I get my coffee. It's great coffee. So no, it's great word of mouth, marketing. I don't want to call it marketing because he obviously didn't do it for that, but it's kind of like showcasing this coffee shop that he really likes.
Exactly. So, and it is, and you're right though, Kathy, it is smart marketing too, just giving people a look at a little bit of behind the scenes, giving them a little look at your personality and some of the things that you do, and also in showing off your expertise, too. William Wilson did a fun one on demonstrating the use of shoe trees. And just a full-blown explanation on I
would have watched that. I'm telling you, I would have totally watched that. So
and yeah, he had a lot of viewers and people commenting online. Oh, so that's what that's for, just fun responses with that too. So yeah, it's an interesting way of just connecting immediately, not having to go through a video editing system and not having to be formal. You can be informal, you can still be professional, and you can still do right by promoting your business, and you can be informal.
Someone's saying, Anthony's saying everything is marketing. And yeah, it is. It is.
Exactly.
So, but I'm sure he didn't necessarily do it in that, he didn't say, look, I'm going to, he just went and got his coffee and took people with him. So
exactly.
You can do both. Yeah. Shoe trees. He needs to do another shoe tree one because people are here like the shoe tree.
Well, tune in. He's at the Clothier at 11 o'clock, and maybe you can post to him if he can do William Wilson can do a rerun of his shoe tree one. But that one was a lot of fun and drew a lot of comments too. And then at the end, he brought it full circle. He flashed an image of all the shoe trees, and he's saying we're having a sale going on right now on these, and come by. He named named his store, named the address, and so he brought it full circle there too. And that's, I think, another thing that's important to keep in mind if as small business owners use this technology to bring it home, so to speak, to have the nice visual that's going to draw folks in, but then also figure out a way to connect it to your product. With the app maker that we included.
I was going to ask you about that because there's definitely people in the tech side. I'm interested in finding out how that, these people used it. Like what was their visual? What was their strategy? What did they do?
Well, I was curious on that one too. And Zurich Bynum figured it out quite quickly. He is launching a new app that is an event around town app, and he wants to use the app to push events to participants, for like little league teams, even to use it as a way to connect and find out when practices are going on, when practices might be canceled, a way to tout like free events around town. So he did several videos. He had mentioned to me that he was all about the storytelling. If he can get to a place, tell the story about the place, and then make his app secondary, but still get the message out that this is the type of thing that you can learn about through my app. So he went to a local youth swim league here, and did a nice video of the kids practicing, a team called the Queen City Dolphins. And then as they were making their way down the pool, he mentioned on air, the Queen City Dolphins is the type of league that you can keep track of on our Hapsy app as a way of keeping in touch with parents or learning about schedule changes. Just a very
that's
smooth way.
Great way to use it to show these are the types of people that should be using my app. And
Exactly.
I love that. I think that's brilliant what he did.
And he made it visual. And then he went to our local U.S. National Whitewater Center, which has music events on Thursday nights. And he broadcast from a Thursday night there. And he said, as someone was going down the zip line, he said, this is the type of event that you can track on our app. And then he went to a local museum at the Mint Museum on one of their evenings out, and said, Wednesday nights are the time to come here, and you can find out more about it on the Hapsy app. So he figured it out pretty quickly. He went for very visual experiences. He's saying his app is all about experiences. And so that's what he went for, just in terms of what he would present and what he would show. And he tied it in very nicely with his technology.
Well, it's interesting because lots of people that are jumping in, I'm interviewing Celeste Smith with the Charlotte Observer, who did an experiment with local entrepreneurs using Periscope. So some people are jumping in and they're asking, did this increase sales? And I think that that's probably a question that will be answered in a couple of months when you do kind of like, another story talking about what's going on. But obviously these people are just testing it out. So Celeste rocks. That's what we're getting.
Thank you. How fun.
Yeah. Okay, someone's saying generating business in Montreal is difficult because no one's on Periscope. So, but I think that there's
what was that? Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy.
Someone was saying in Canada, in Montreal, that generating business through Periscope is going to be difficult because there's not a lot of people in Montreal are on Periscope.
Interesting.
Yeah, but we haven't hit critical mass. So
well, I think again, I was so new. I did not have this on any of my devices a month ago. But what's interesting is that it seems as though, I have no idea what the numbers are, but it seems as though people are doing their first live broadcast every day. More people are joining in and getting the hang of it and realizing the potential of it. I will say too that some of the business owners, and frankly myself included, would experience just are in some ways are trying to figure out some different parts of the technology, like why do broadcasts drop? What is it about maybe the signal or the device that I'm using that's resulting in video that seems to be heavily pixelated. So there are some things, I guess, about that too that need to be worked out. But like anything else, it seems as though people are quick to share information, and as improvements are made, the word about that gets out too. So.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Lots of folks are saying here that connections can be bad, but yeah, it's definitely a learning curve. And there was also someone else commenting that right now, Periscope only has, I think it's 4.4% of the Twitter users. So,
interesting.
This is early. This has only been around 3 months. We haven't hit critical mass. So obviously, some people are already making quite a bit of money on Periscope with just, that percentage. So it'll be
seem that way. Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting though, 4.4, and it'll be interesting to see how that grows and how people use it. And our owners too, I mean, they did what everyone else does, I would imagine. They went on Google to kind of figure out how other people use it. They watched other folks' Periscope videos just to get a sense of the type of visuals that other people would go for and the type of broadcasts that they would do. And so it seems as more and more people do that, there'll be an increasing comfort level with using the technology, and myself included. So it's something that I would like to continue using as a way to showcase some of our local entrepreneurs. As I do stories on them or as I check in with them, it would be fun to include that as a piece of the storytelling as well too, just to give a different dimension and to a way to get their names out there. So.
And you know, and everyone's asking like, how do you make money? How do you make money on Periscope? I think that that's the big question. But like I said, there are already people making money. They're, you know, they're selling their services. Lots of like personal coaches for business or for personal that are making money on this. I mean, people, there's different ways to go about it. So that's what I've seen.
And it also seems as though
Celeste, I'm going to stop you one second.
As you would. Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy.
Sorry, one second. So guys, let me tell you, because I just got a whole bunch of people jump in. I'm interviewing Celeste Smith with the Charlotte Observer, and we're talking about an experiment that they did with 9 small business owners and entrepreneurs in Charlotte testing out Periscope. So for those of you guys that are just jumping in, so sorry about that. That's just how interviews on Periscope work.
That's live. Definitely.
So what were you going to say, Celeste?
I guess I was also going to just point out, just in terms of I mean, that's always the question, right? Like how is this going to translate into money? And that's, I mean, how is this going to keep me in the business? And it seems as though repetition is important, and repetition is key to just keep doing it and to keep finding your voice. And it seems as though that was a very addictive quality for some of our business owners, which is why they would try different types of scene setting broadcasts to get their story out. And so it seems like if you're a consistent presence, and also just know what to show. If you have a beautiful boutique, you know, why not just pan in your shop and show off what you have and what you do. Or show off like what's on sale, you know, give people a look inside too. As Jennifer Brandon from the Boulevard at South End mentioned, she says it beats having to post 50 photos all at once. If you can just
definitely beats
pan and do a quick broadcast. So I would imagine that would be a key to this too, to just keep being consistent, give people something. Let people expect to hear from you. Let people be surprised, I guess, if they don't hear from you, and find just different ways of saying what you do. Think about, I guess, plan it out like you might do anything else, just like you might plan out your Instagram or your Facebook posts in terms of what type of story you want to tell about your business during the week. You might want to just plan out Periscope the same way. Okay, well, this week we're getting a new shipment of, you know, XYZ. And so I'm going to do a broadcast just showing off some of our products. So it might be just a way of scheduling it as well too. And so that's always the trick. And I'm not an entrepreneur. And God bless you all for what you do, because there's just so much of a demand on your time, and you need so much heart to do what you do. And a couple of people mentioned that too, like, oh, that's always the trick. Like, how do we find time to do this and then, you know, upload the videos on our sites if we want to keep the videos? So it's a balancing act, as you all well know better than I do. But it's something that you might want to consider making a regular part of your social media toolbox.
Definitely. And now that you add 2 things, there are actually services popping up that will record your videos for you, so you don't have to like.
Oh.
Yeah. So those, I mean, people are starting to think of ideas, you know.
Really? That's
yes. makes life easier for entrepreneurs. Like, I don't have the time to sit down and like download it from my phone and deal with editing and everything. Someone just
exactly.
So that's that's.
I wonder if those services, you know, Zurich Bynum with the Hapsy app had mentioned that that the saving the videos, which is what we asked the business owners to do, that he was a little bit, I guess, disappointed, it might be a strong word, to see that a lot of the engagement that shows up on Periscope, just like what's happening on your screen right now, doesn't show up in the videos. And so I don't know if these services, you know, provide for a way to show that, or
the video comments in the hearts. That's the innovative part, because that way,
right, people love their hearts, and
people love their hearts.
and the comments too, and just the engagement. And also on replay, as you're answering back or answering questions, they're saying, I guess, to people who are new to the technology, they may not quite get who you're talking to, or
I'd be like, this person's crazy. There's actually a clothing, a t-shirt maker they're called Swagbot, and they've got a shirt that says, "I'm not talking to myself, I'm on Periscope."
Oh, that's great. That's hilarious. Yeah, see, I guess people are embracing that part of the culture already. So
because I do it all the time. I do it from the airport. I did it from the plane the other day. Like, I do it from everywhere.
Wow.
People are like, what? They look at you like, what is this person doing? They're crazy, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It'll, and you know, and I guess it takes some for those of us who are working or trying to learn digital media, and for journalism applications, it takes some getting used to as well too. I know when I use Periscope and I use it on my iPad, you know, instinctively we're taught to hold our devices horizontally, and Periscope videos vertically, which just makes for a look that's different from what we're used to and from what we're encouraged to do. We're encouraged to go kind of like for the broader movie look by shooting horizontally as opposed to vertically. And so it seems as though some of us are getting the hang of that. Like, even if we do shoot horizontally or hold our device horizontally, the comments are coming up vertically. So that's something that we're getting used to as well too. But it'll be interesting to see where it all goes.
It'll be very interesting. I think landscape's going to come soon enough. Someone was making a good comment about like reaching out to people that were on your stream afterwards on Twitter and just connecting with them there, and that, you know, that
great point.
Relationship, you know, going back through the list and saying, oh, and especially if they're local. I mean, it depends on your business, obviously, but you know, with the geotagging feature, I think that part of it, especially for small businesses, where you can show your actual location, you know, down to the street.
Okay.
But that part of it makes it a marketer's dream in that sense, because you can find people in your area that are going to come and buy your coffee, you know, things
exactly.
Like that.
Exactly. How interesting. That's a great tip to share, and also a good point with the geolocation too, so that people can find you and to follow up with them, like you're saying, to reach out, or like your commenter said, to reach out on Twitter and to continue to forge a connection. I mean, that's a really smart use of it. So yeah, these are good tips.
And by the way, Chocolate Johnny actually gave you a shout out a little earlier, and he said you need to go to Australia. So and he's a really cool dude. Like, he's not like a, you know, like, because you look like, who is this person? No, he's really cool. He's awesome.
That's great. That's great. Try out the chocolate. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So actually, he's saying that I have told him in reply, look at a map to find our store. So that's really interesting.
Okay. Oh, wow. No, that is great. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how some of your viewers manage just being able to interact on the fly like that, if they're in the middle of something, or how important that is to them. As the other commenter had mentioned, to just say sorry and move on if you're not responding. But I don't know how important that is to some of the owners out there, to be able to respond immediately, or like the other person had mentioned, to just follow up later. But I think
there's different types of scopes. If you're doing one that's educational and you're showing something, right, you're not going to be able to engage as much. But you just have to do different scopes. Like, sometimes I'll just do a scope where I sit in my couch and I just talk to people. Of course, I'm sitting there talking to people. I'm like, hey, John, hey, whoever comes in.
Yeah.
So there's different ways. Very important to interact. I agree. It is very important to interact. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the key. Engagement is the key. So like when I do these interviews, it's hard because I'm trying to do both. So.
No, you're doing a great job. I'm learning as I'm watching you. This is great. Just another note on the technology, and I don't know if some of your viewers may want to weigh in on this too. A couple of folks had mentioned, Bar Chocolate in particular, had mentioned some of the challenges of using lighting to showcase a food product, and being able to or not being able to, I guess, work with some of the settings on his device within the app to improve the lighting. And so he had mentioned he had like 5, focus lights on his bonbons as they were doing a bonbon presentation. And exactly. And he was able to get in and out without it melting. They look beautiful throughout the entire broadcast. But I would love to hear from folks on how they manage that with the lighting, if it's just a matter of trying to use natural light when you can, or just adjustments that they make, especially I guess the foodie entrepreneurs too, because that's just so important in showcasing some of the things that they do. But
and I guess Chocolate Johnny, who's in here, like how do you show your product? What kind of lighting do you use? I mean, what I have done, I mean, I'm not a food entrepreneur by any means. I just, I have bought certain type of gear that will make my my scopes, if I'm depending on what I'm doing, a little better. Like there's like the Yopo clip, I have a tripod.
Okay.
So I have mics, like for example, I have a double lavalier. So if I'm out and about interviewing people, I'll use a double lav so that it's easier for people to hear the audio.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I guess there's some good preparation that you can do ahead of time. The tripod is an excellent idea. One of our entrepreneurs said he propped his phone up on his laptop as a way to use it as a stand. So that's one way, I suppose, too. But the tripod could definitely help you get around it. And also using that external mic, that's a smart idea too, especially if you're doing something outside to try to help focus voices and interviews. So those are smart strategies that I'll probably steal too, Kathy. That's a great idea.
Yeah, no worries. And the reality is that this is a global app, and if you have a product, you can always ship your product anywhere. So the reach is global. Yeah. And they're talking about some of the gear. There's some, this is one of
okay.
I've got a big one over here. There's actually a guy called Ryan Steinelson, he's come up with this thing called the Scope Sack. That sounds weird, right? But
wow.
it sounds weird, but he's got all these things in there that are so useful. There's like a little tripod, so there's all these things that can
smart.
be. So
the marketing opportunities are endless, I guess.
They are endless on this platform. That's why it's like we're just scratching the surface. We haven't hit critical mass. So that's one of the reasons I thought what you guys did was so innovative and brilliant, because everyone's writing an article on, this is what you can use it for, and blah, blah, blah. But you guys did something extra. You guys went, the extra mile and said, okay, let's test this out and see what these people, what actual small businesses are seeing from it. So that's one of the reasons I reached out to you, because I thought it was like, this is great. This is great journalism. It's a great use of, understanding the technology.
Oh, well, thank you. That's great to hear. And we were just so lucky to have business owners who just ran with it immediately and knew what they wanted to do. We gave them some guidance on and the opportunity to talk it out if they wanted to. But just such as if you have a retail setting that you might want to just show that off. But people pretty much came up with their own ideas and their own setting and knew what they wanted to showcase. And so, small entrepreneurs, and you all, the ones of those of you out there who are listening, you all know this. I mean, you have to be innovative, and you have to be able to promote yourselves on the fly. And a lot of you are very skilled and very comfortable at doing it, and are some of the early embracers really of some of these changes, because it's a good, often free way of getting your products and getting your name out in front of customers. So I mean, it kind of works Periscope can work, and these other live streaming apps like Meerkat can work hand in hand with a lot of the innovation that small business owners already demonstrate.
Yeah.
So
I would love to talk to you, Celeste, in like 6 months and see what, what has happened since the experiment first, since the experiment first went live. I'm curious to find out what happened since 6 months.
That would be fun. It would be fun to check in and to see what others might have joined in as well too, or picked up the technology. So we'll have to put that on the calendar and consider that.
Yeah, everyone's saying yes. We need a follow up. So can you tell the guys which are the entrepreneurs that are going live on Periscope and their handles, maybe?
Sure. At 10 o'clock, we'll have Jennifer Branham. Pardon me for looking away. I just want to make sure I get this right. We'll have Jennifer Branham from the Boulevard at South End, and that's an accessories boutique here in town. And her handle is at uppercase BLVD, lowercase at, and uppercase SE. So again, that's at uppercase BLVD, lowercase at, uppercase SE. Then at 11 o'clock, our celebrity clothier in town, William Wilson, will take us through a tour of his shop and also explain how to properly fit a suit. So wearers out there may want to tune in on that. He'll give a demonstration on that, and his demonstrations are always fun and just lively, and you come away with good tips, and he has beautiful clothes. That will be at 11 o'clock.
And this is all Eastern, by the way, guys. All Eastern. So
yes, all Eastern. Thank you. And his handle is at the clothier. So that's TheClothier. And then at 3 o'clock, maybe Chocolate Johnny might be interested in this. Bar Chocolate, Lynn McKay and Mike Schaefer will broadcast from their production facility and hopefully take us through some of their beautiful products. And you can find them at Bar Chocolate Inc. And so that's at BAR and then uppercase chocolate and then lowercase Inc. INC. Mm-hmm. So they are all just, again, have really taken to it. William is the most experienced one with Periscope, but our other entrepreneurs were new to it and just took to it very quickly, used it again as a way to show off their personalities and show off the fact that they're very comfortable going live, especially Lynn McKay from Bar Chocolate. Just loved it, saying that he and Mike prefer doing live broadcasts anyway. They're very comfortable talking about their products. So that should be a lot of fun, and I'm sure that they'll be happy to take questions too, and just look for your comments and your questions. So
exciting to watch.
I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And what is the website? It's the Observer for Shop Talk, so people can read the article.
Sure. It's so it's the Charlotte Observer Shop Talk section, and our website is charlotteobserver.com/shoptalk, SHOPTALK. You'll see the story as well as a video compilation of the owners' feeds. And you'll also see a blog post there too with some extra feedback from the entrepreneurs on the types of things that they learned during the project. So you can look there to find that.
Awesome, Celeste. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. And
Kathy, I enjoyed it.
I'm definitely going to be jumping in on some of the scopes and checking them out, and supporting entrepreneurs. So, but thank you so much. Appreciate it. And we definitely need to have a follow up in like 6 months and see what's going on. Because I think we all, like a lot of us that are on Periscope are just excited about this social media platform. And we just think it's the next big thing. It is the next big thing. Right now it is, but
Oh, that's great. No, that's great. Well, Kathy, thank you for the opportunity and for the chance to learn more about Scope News and your projects. and for having me on this morning. Thanks very much.
All right, Celeste, have a great day.
Thank you. You too, Kathy.
Bye.
Bye.